I am Dr. B.C. Datta from India, associated with poultry for 37 years in India, Bangladesh, and Nepal. I launched this YouTube channel to share my knowledge, expertise, and experience with the poultry community of this subcontinent. Today's subject is disease prevention in poultry farming through drinking water hygiene. If you feel the content is useful for you and your business in poultry, please like and subscribe the channel and share the experience with your friends.
So, welcome to Dr. B.C. Datta. I thank you for sparing your time for this webinar, and this webinar, which is sponsored by Bromograin, a water sanitizer, and Chemosit PHB, a water acidifier from Chembon. So this webinar is sponsored by Bromograin and Chemosit PHB. So welcome, Dr. Datta, and thank you very much for accepting our request to conduct this webinar. Thank you so much, and over to you, Dr. Datta.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone, for this wonderful session of webinar during this pandemic. We all people connected with poultry are here to discuss some important subjects. I convey my thanks to Team Chembon for organizing such a webinar with interesting subjects. Also welcome all the participants, mostly from India, but so many social media followers of mine from Nepal and Bangladesh. They might be online or maybe very soon. So, this is all about welcoming, and regarding me, already Chembon CEO spoken. I'm basically a field veteran for last around 17 years. I'm working with the broiler production, especially the broiler production. So I'm in poultry for 37 years, but 17 years I'm directly with poultry production in India, Nepal, Bangladesh, part of Thailand, sometime. Today's subject I'm going to discuss is, as Dr. Sanjay said, let me share the hope this slide is visible to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Today's topic is disease prevention in poultry farming through water hygiene. Every day we are facing disease in poultry. Through drinking water hygiene, how we can control the disease is the subject. So shall I start?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please go ahead. Okay, thank you. What is a disease? Let us know what is a disease. Disease is a disorder of structure or function in a human, animal, or plant, especially one that produces specific symptoms or that affects a specific location and is not simply a direct result of physical injury. In other words, disease is a disorder or incorrectly functioning organ, part, structure, or system of the body resulting from effects of genetic or developmental errors, infections, poisons, nutritional deficiency or imbalance, toxicity, or unfavorable environmental factors. This is simply disease. Now, Hippocrates, we know the name is basically the father of medicines, or what to say, till date, he is the father and founder of medical sciences. He said, all diseases begins in the gut. All diseases begins in the gut or intestine. We know what is disease now, and this disease starts from intestine, as the modern science also said. So let's proceed to the next slide and know in details how it originates from gut. Scientists who discovered vitamin C and who won Nobel Prize in Medicine, Albert Georgi, said, water is life's matter and matrix, mother and medium. There is no life without water. In this subcontinent, in India, or in other neighboring country, what do we say? Jal hi jeevan hai. Water is life. So now, in poultry, what is the relation of water? The broiler chicks in a lifespan of 5 weeks consume 10 liters of water. And a layer pullet chicks in 80 weeks of life, it consumes 160 liters of water. Gut epithelial surface is much higher than external body surface. Huge volume of water passing through gut epithelium every day in case of chicken. So there is a broiler chicks of 20 days. It consumes around 100 grams of feed daily. Body weight will be around 850 grams. And it consumes 300 ml of water every day. The 850 gram body weight, 300 ml of water. So more than 40% of its body weight volume water is being consumed by a chicken every day. So chicken intestine is facing huge volume of water every day. So if intestine is the source of all disease, and that intestine is facing this much volume of drinking water every day, so that drinking water has to be safe to maintain normal health and production. So safe drinking water is essential for normal health and production. This is the discussion subject today. Safe drinking water is essential broiler production and broiler health. In poultry, water is a forgotten nutrient. Safe water intake is as important as feeding birds a healthy diet, because 70% of chicken body is made of water. Water is being consumed in greater quantity any other nutrient in chicken. It is 5 times of corn or maize. Birds may die rapidly from lack of water than lack of any other nutrients in case of poultry. So whatever the chicken eats, 3 times it consumes water volume, and the chicken body consists almost 70% consists of water. So water quality is an important issue in poultry. Let's proceed to next slide. Let us know the functions of water. Functions of water in a quick way. As a major component of blood, water helps transporting nutrients and oxygen to the cells and carrying waste away. Water is directly related with all physiological activities like digestion, respiration, excretion, production, and movement. Water is the primary element in two most important body processes, digestion and respiration, which are the key to thermoregulation. For optimum growth and production, chicken need free and convenient access of safe drinking water because our not only the chicken body, our finished products, eggs and chicken. Eggs contain 75% of water. And in case of chicken meat, chicken, if it is raw, 66% is water. If it is cooked, even cooked whole chicken contains 60% water. White meat chicken with skin, definitely with skin, white meat chicken, raw it is 69% water. After cooking even 61% of white meat chicken is water. And in case of dark meat chicken, raw is 66% and cooked dark meat chicken contain 59% of water. So water volume, chicken body is 70%, chicken product is 60 to 75%. Importance of water in poultry we can understand from this data. Let's move to the next slide. In poultry, people used to ask every day, discuss every day, how much water to be consumed. My chicken, how much water it should consume. It depends on age and feed. Definitely the standard, the quality of feed, type of feed, but mainly it depends on the ambient temperature. In winter and in summer, there are heaven and hell differences. In extreme winter, it may be when the temperature, average temperature of the day, it is freezing temperature, almost 4 degrees, then feed is to water maybe 1 is to 1.7. In normal winter of India, when the average daily temperature is 20 degrees centigrade, feed is to water will be 1 is to 2. Means if the birds are taking 150 gram feed, it will consume 300 ml of water. In today's climate, whereas average temperature is around 30 degrees for the day, so this feed is to water is 1 is to 3. And during most part of the year, in climatic condition of this subcontinent, water consumption is almost 3 times. That's why, as a thumb rule, we is to take feed is to water is 1 is to 3. But in extreme summer of May, June, it can go up to 4.5 times of feed. That time feed intake is low and water consumption will be more. This is the water volume they can consume every day. Let us have some idea about what is going to happen if the chicken are not going to get this normal quantity of water. That means water deprivation.
মিটিং আছে একটা ছেড়ে দাও
Performance, there will be effect on performance. Water deprivation results reduced feed intake, low body weight, low egg production, and poor feed efficiency. Dehydration. Water deprivation causes dehydration and immunosuppression. Effect on thermoregulation. Deprivation causes failure to maintain body temperature with enlarged heart by multi-organ failure and death. There will be chemical imbalance. All the body processes from joint function to brain function gets disturbed with water dehydration. When blood gets concentrated, there will be digestive problem, water deprivation, and in one way, the feed has to be diluted. The dry poultry feed has to be diluted with water. That will be disturbed. But moreover, the intestinal villi height and creep rate will be disturbed, and it impaired digestion, resulting poor growth and poor production. So water deprivation affects heavily on normal health and production efficiency in case of chicken. Let's move to next slide.
Oh,
What are the drinking water
Huh?
quality requirement? Drinking
Yeah.
water quality requirement in case of chicken. There should be some standard and some maximum or minimum limit of everything, because this drinking water is never a distilled water. It is a borewell water. So it will have some minerals. It's never with zero bacterial count. So what is the tolerable limit? What is the maximum acceptable limit? The table is taken from COB website. The total bacterial count, maximum limit acceptable is 100 CFU per ml, but expected or average should be 0. Coliform bacteria should be 0, but maximum acceptable limit is 50 CFU per ml. pH. Regarding pH, there are different school of thoughts. Different people, production people, nutritionists, everyone thinks pH in different way. As per COB recommendation, pH acceptable range should be 6 to 8, and average level it should be 6.8 to 7.5. Hardness maximum is 110, and hardness is better around 60 to 100 is better. Calcium, it should be 60 mg per liter, should not be more than 60 mg per liter. Chloride, 14 mg per liter. I'm discussing about iron, 0.2 mg per liter would be there, but maximum should be 0.3 mg per liter. And one important is nitrate. Its acceptable limit, maximum acceptable limit is 25 mg per liter, but good is 10 mg per liter. These are the minerals which are commonly available in drinking water. This is the acceptable and maximum limit as per COB. Today's boiler is very high growth, very high feed efficiency, and the layer high hen house and hen day production in case of layer. Today's chicken become less tolerant to stress, with a significant stress from poor drinking water quality. What might have had no impact on birds 15 years ago could be devastating for the birds of today. I'm repeating, what might not had no impact on birds 15 years ago could be devastating for birds of today. Today, no one is going to accept the 15 years old chick quality. No one is going to accept 15-year-old feed quality. So today's chicken are not going to accept 15-year-old drinking water quality, because they have improved, everything improved. They are too much sensitive. So in poultry farming practice, every time we used to discuss, I am doing this for last 10 years, 12 years, 15 years. Are you going to accept 15 years old chicks or feed? If your answer is no, then chicken is asking in 2021, please do not give me 15 years old drinking water quality. If you want the 2021 efficiency from me, provide me mineral water if possible, otherwise safe drinking water. Let us proceed to the next slide. What are the drinking water quality parameters? We all know these three brands. Brand Sealpack, we have faith, we have trust, we use without thinking anything we used to drink. Like that, we must have trust on our drinking water quality. What are those? What are those parameters? Physical parameter. Drinking water should be clear and odorless. Contamination. Drinking water should be free from unwanted chemical and microbial
6 to
contaminants.
6.8. 8.
Hardness or TDS. Upper range should be 110 is 110. It should be 60 to 110. pH, the desired pH is 6 to 6.8. Regarding pH, all these parameters we'll discuss in details. Considering all the things, we'll discuss in details. And taste should be pleasant. Yes, everything is fine. If taste is not pleasant, so but will not going to drink the water. This is our water, and this type of clear water birds are drinking. We must supply this type of clear water to the broiler, or whether it is layer or breeder in chicken farming. Let us pass it to the next slide. We'll discuss one by one all the parameters now. Physical parameter. Physically, drinking water must be clear without any turbidity, colorless and odorless. It should not be like this. This is also taken from a farm. See that chicken are seeing somewhere else. They are not drinking this water. The water, this pot is full of water, but it is dirty. Birds are not drinking. This water is not suitable for today's broiler. Physically, by seeing physically. So there is contamination, there is so many things, but physically it is not acceptable. Let us go to next slide. Contamination. Drinking water must be free from any unwanted chemical contamination. Poultry performance affected by even 10 ppm nitrates from sewage or fertilizer contamination of water. It is very common. Fertilizer contamination in farms of in between agricultural land is very common, which we normally oversee the situation. Improve your infrastructure and husbandry practice to provide safe drinking water to avoid chemical contamination. See, this is drinking water pipeline. Water is coming out because of the internal pressure. Now, if this area is filled with some more mud or water, maybe due to flood or something, so this water will go inside the drinking water pipeline. There will be contamination of chemical and microorganisms. So what will happen? So drinking water pipeline should not be compromised like this or this. Like using a band-aid only, you are going to provide safe drinking water. No, it cannot be. You have to improve your infrastructure and husbandry practice to provide safe drinking water to the chicken. Let's move to the next slide. Microbial contamination must be, all drinking water must be free from microbial contamination for optimum health and performance. Poultry producers are critical about the quality of feed, but the quality of drinking water often not receive the attention it deserves, although volume of water is 3 times of the feed. Everyone is conscious about the feed quality. Drinking water, they don't bother, although the volume is 3 times. In poultry house environment, there is always chance of contamination of water from litter, dust, and discharges of water. Water sanitizer need to be used to protect the birds from unwanted contamination throughout the production cycle. There is unwanted, unexpected contamination every time in our poultry farming. So we are not taking this from day one to harvesting. The total production cycle, we use water sanitizer. Expose the next slide. Now, water sanitizer use is compulsory in poultry to prevent waterborne disease, to control horizontal spread of bacterial and viral infection, to get optimum digestive capacity from the intestine. Water sanitizer use is compulsory in poultry. There are three common varieties of water sanitizer. Sorry. Iodine salt, PDSC, and chlorine salt. Iodine is effective against bacteria, fungi, and some viruses. Effective against hard water, very quick action. PDSC or dimethyl ammonium chloride is broad spectrum, bactericidal and fungicidal, but in high pH and high TDS, its efficacy is under question. Chlorination is most common and most economic. We'll discuss in details about water sanitization later. Let us proceed to the next slide. Next slide. It's about water hardness. Water hardness and drinking water quality. Water hardness is the amount of ions which have lost 2 electrons dissolved in the tested water. It is theoretical definition and is therefore related to TDS, total dissolved solids, a measure of all inorganic and organic solids dissolved in water. Whatever organic, inorganic solids dissolved in water is called TDS. Hard water is the water has a high mineral content. The main difference between TDS and hardness, though we use both the words simultaneously, but there is some difference. The difference between TDS and hardness is TDS include inorganic substances that cannot be filtered through filter paper, whereas hardness is due to the presence of calcium and magnesium as carbonate, sulfate, and chloride show. There is a small table classification of water depending on the calcium carbonate or hardness of the water. Soft water where calcium carbonate or hardness is 0 to TDS is 0 to 75 ppm. 0 to 75 ppm TDS is called soft water for human consumption as recommended by WHO. We consume soft water. All the mineral water bottles, they will see the TDS will be 60 to 75.
डॉक्टर साहब ऑयल लिया है फोन आपका
And next, if the TDS is in between 75 and 150, the what is classified as slightly high. If the TDS is furthermore, it is 150 to 300, then it is called hard water, classified as hard water. And if the TDS is more than 300, it's very hard water. We in poultry, we require water hardness or TDS from 60 to 110. Means soft or slightly harder water. But unfortunately, in this subcontinent, especially Gangetic Basin of India, Bangladesh, Tarai Belt of Nepal, and some other part of India, drinking water TDS is always 250 plus. And in monsoon, it is 350 plus. Last 2 months, I never saw, I checked at least 40 farms drinking water in Nepal, in UP, in Bihar, in West Bengal. In all cases, TDS was 350 plus. So this very hard water we are facing. This very hard water is not good for the health of children. That we are going to discuss slowly. Let us go to next slide. Hardness reduces efficiency of sanitizer and disinfectant. If the water is very hard, water sanitizer cannot act. Hardness interferes with the administration of many medicines and vaccines. Hard water can clog pipes and nipples, scale buildup around nozzles and outlets. See, I was checking a drinking water looks good. I was checking the TDS, it was 442. And hardness and TDS of water are directly proportional to each other. The higher the TDS, more will be the hardness of the water. That is the relation between hardness and TDS, although we use both the terms simultaneously. TDS is also includes inorganic substances. Hardness is only calcium and magnesium salt. Calcium and magnesium salt. Now, While in our daily practice, in our daily life, we can identify hard water and soft water very easily. If we are washing hands with soap, the lather formation, in case of soft water, there is very good lather formation. If it is hard water, there is very mild lather formation. That is the instant difference we can identify the hard water and soft water. When water is TDS, if it is 442 or 400 like that, then this lather formation will be very minimal. Hardness affects water quality because it reduces the efficiency of sanitizer, disinfectant, medicines, vaccines. It blocks the nipples and pipes. That is the thing we came to know from this slide. Let us move to the next slide. So this is my farm. I build up the farm here, and I have to use. I cannot brought water from farmer point of view. I cannot brought drinking water every day from outside. So I have to use this water. What to do? The most common way of removing drinking water hardness is to install a water softener, which replaces calcium and magnesium ion with sodium ion by ion exchange resin or by reverse osmosis or RO. Conventional water softening for household use depend on an ion exchange resin, whereas hardness is reduced by replacing hardness ion, magnesium and calcium with sodium and potassium. This is a farm. This is a RO plant installed RO plant for the this layer pullets are there. The RO plant installation this picture. So for big farms or commercial farms, installation RO is the most economic and most useful thing. But in small farm, let us see what you can do in case of small farm. Let's move to the next slide. Reverse osmosis, which I said, is a best option to make the hard water soft water. Reverse osmosis uses an applied pressure gradient across the semi-permeable membrane to overcome osmotic pressure and remove water molecules from the solution with hardness ions. The membrane has pores large enough to admit water molecules to pass, but calcium and magnesium will not fit through the pores. The resulting soft water supply is free of hardness ions. The RO plant, if you install, you can get soft water from the plant for your parts. Let's move to the next slide. Now we discussed already the physical quality and hardness. Next parameter is pH. Role of pH in drinking water quality. What is pH? pH is power of hydrogen or is a measure of acidity or alkalinity of water. pH 7 is called termed as neutral, and below 7 is acidic, and above 7 is alkaline. Water hardness and pH are not always directly related, but generally, hard water has higher pH. pH heavily impacts water quality and efficacy of disinfectants, which we are going to discuss now.
Recording
See the chicken intestine. This is the chicken body and the chicken gastrointestinal tract. This is esophagus. From see the pH of each part of the chicken intestine. The crop normal pH is between 4 to 6. Then the proventriculus, the actual stomach, is 2 to 5. Usually stomach pH is 2.4 to 4, but the range is 2 to 5. And the gizzard pH is 2 to 5. Then duodenum is 6 to 6.5. The jejunum and ileum of intestine is 6 to 7.5. And the large intestine, cecum is 7. Colon is 7 and cecum is 5 to 5.7. Just have a close look. The whole intestine of chicken from crop to colon, pH is either acidic or neutral. Please remember this fact. In next few slides, we'll have to recollect this memory of chicken intestine pH part-wise, because chicken intestine is either acidic or neutral pH. There is no place of alkaline pH. Let us move to the next slide. What is the standard pH for poultry drinking water? If it is below 5, it is poor. There will be performance issue because water consumption may be less, and drinking water pipelines and any metallic structure, there will be corrosion and any other issues. Most satisfactory level is 6 to 6.8 is the satisfactory pH. It is recommended for poultry. And pH level of range of 5 to 8 is tolerable by the chicken. Maximum and minimum acceptable limits 5 to 8. And above 8 is unsatisfactory. Water will be taste bitter, there will be less water consumption, there will be performance issue. Just 10-12 days back, I was visiting a farm somewhere with complaint of poor intestinal health. I've been to the farm, checked all the necessary things. After that, I just thought I must check the drinking water quality, because something was hammering me from inside. Drinking water might be the issue only. I checked the water pH. pH was 9. This is bore oil water pH. And this is pH 7 paper, the same paper used. This is from the mineral water I was carrying for my own use. As per WHO, the pH is 7. And here pH is 9. Now just go back to the earlier page. Let's go back to the earlier page. Chicken intestine pH is 2 to 7. And we are supplying here water of 9 pH. It's like we are organizing a conference in an air-conditioned room. People are sitting, everyone is serious. Now if one person from outside with a big whole pipe blows hot air inside the room, what will happen? We are in an air-conditioned room with 24, 25 temperature, feeling comfortable, and he is blowing hot air inside the room. So the atmosphere inside the room will be changed. The situation, the atmosphere of organizing a serious meeting will be disturbed. Here also, with this type of water, the normal working atmosphere inside the intestine is disturbed. What was the normal working atmosphere? What was the normal working in the intestine? What is normal work of intestine? It's digestion of food and immunity development. So both will be disturbed. We cannot continue with this type of water. I asked them to bring some water acidity. They brought some water acidifier. I gave as per recommended dose. I used the recommended dose. After a few minutes, water I again tested. Water pH came down to 7.5 to indicate 7.5 to 8, around 7.7. But this is also not acceptable for the chicken. Then I used the necessary dose to make the water pH near 6. It's 6 to 6.5. Then water, the paper, yellow paper becomes yellow only. So this water is desired water for use in the chicken farm. Now, why the pH is water pH, low water pH is required for chicken intestine? The gut microbiome and the digestive enzyme activity are sensitive to pH. Coliform, including E. coli and Salmonella, grows best at alkaline In contrast, beneficial bacteria like lactobacilli thrive at more acidic pH. Water pH at 4.5 to 5.5 promotes growth of beneficial bacteria in the gut and discourages growth of coliforms. Liquid water acidifier helps maintaining water pH at desired level. We want water pH around 6 to 6.8, and that water acidifier can help us to reach that level. And this low pH helps newly hatched chicks to adapt to dry feed. Because the chicks, after hatching, they come to the farm, they house the chicks, they started eating the dry food. Because the low pH promotes beneficial microbial growth and aids enzyme production inside the newly hatched chick's intestine. So acidic pH helps the newly hatched chicks to adopt the situation very early. Start with water pH has to be very much acidic. Even below 6 is advisable. So water acidifier can help us to reach that level. Let us proceed to next slide. There are 7 signs in poultry which are related to poor water quality. Poor water quality, 7 signs without producing any specific disease. These signs are non-infectious signs. There is no bacteria, no virus. Poor water quality causes some disturbance in poultry health. What are those? If the nitrate level is more than 1 mg per liter even, that will lower oxygen uptake in the blood, resulting in lethargic birds, reduced fertility breeder, bluish combs, lobe, and head. If the nitrate is more than 200 mg per liter, there will be respiratory problem. Birds will be panting. If the potassium level is over 300 mg per liter, there will be enteritis and diarrhea. If the sodium level is over 200 mg per liter, there will be several symptoms: torticollis, lameness, blocked nerve conduction, smell of rotten eggs, attributed by high sulfide level, converted to sulfate under the influence of bacteria because of more than 200 mg per liter concentration of sulfide. Simple, the iron content of water is more than 5 mg per liter. It can cause intestinal dysfunction. Iron content of over 5 mg per liter. Highest accepted level, maximum accepted level is 0.3. Normal is 0.2 mg per liter. If it is more than 5, there can be intestinal dysfunction. And weaker immune response and loose droppings attributed by mycotoxins produced by moths. These all 7 signs are due to poor water quality without producing any specific disease, and all are non-infectious signs. Let's move to the next slides. Poor water quality, what it contributes? It's gut health compromise, deviation in gut microbiota, there will be malabsorption, poor absorption of fat, carbohydrate, and proteins, more nutrients available at hind gut for microbes, leading to growth and multiplication of pathogenic organisms, mainly Clostridium. The slow digestion of these nutrients results passage of these nutrients to the hind gut. If the situation is chronic, the response is to produce more enzymes, more immunological reaction. This is costly in nutrient energy terms. But if it is acute response, then there will be dysbacteriosis or enteritis. So poor water quality can cause dysbacteriosis or enteritis. We'll go into details in the next slide. Poor water quality causes unwanted microbial overgrowth. Excess production of toxic gases like carbon dioxide, ammonia, and hydrogen sulfide. Production of toxic chemicals like amides, which irritates gut and reduce body growth. Inactivation of bile production, impaired fat absorption. All these causes hyperimmune reaction leading to leaky gut. We all know the term leaky gut. If leaky gut situation is there, this leads to further disruption and damage of intestinal mucosa, resulting many more infection. This is called dysbacteriosis. This leaky gut allows this tight junction integrity disturb. So the bacteria in the hind gut moves to the intestinal, small intestinal part, it enters into the blood system through this impaired tight junction, then enters the body system into the blood, and the hyperimmune system will be excessive immune system. This is leaky gut syndrome, and ultimately this is called dysbacteriosis. Let's move to the next slide. This is as so far I discussed the theoretically how dysbacteriosis or enteritis is developed, but practically in the poultry field, what we see. This is a photo of third day, 2-day age, third day morning photo of chicks. This is all photo are taken in the month of July and August of this 2021. This is a 27-day chicks, the last one. And now, if the poor drinking water quality is supplied to the newly hatched chicks with high pH and high TDS, it may lead to enteritis, diarrhea, and pestilent condition. And if the condition continues, then malabsorption of protein leads to undigested protein in hindgut, resulting necrotic enteritis due to clostridial growth. Maggot development is a common outcome of persistent necrotic enteritis in broilers. Let us discuss something the current situation. Because of the price of soybean and scarcity in supply, poultry producers are compelled to use alternative protein sources, but digestible protein percentage is low. Protein digestion is low, so part of protein are not digested, they are moving to the hindgut. Clostridium is getting the energy and protein, and it is Clostridium overgrowth. It moves to the small intestinal tract. So necrotic enteritis is developing, and if the situation continuing, so necrotic enteritis and pestilent ultimate maggot formation. This condition all over India, Bangladesh, Nepal is very common now in the practical field in today's situation. May not be maggot, but this condition is very common. This is all related to the gut health. Now, let us discuss some important things. Water pH and drinking water vaccination. Drinking water vaccination is the most common and most easy. It is widely used throughout the world. But drinking water quality, pH and TDS, is very poor in most part of the subcontinent. TDS and alkaline pH water often minimizes vaccine efficacy. How it develops, how it affects the vaccine efficacy. There is a trial and its publication in the Journal of Applied Poultry Research in 27th issue in October 2017, where some scientists have tested the role of water chemistry and stabilizers on the varicella-based inactivity of Newcastle disease virus like vaccine. Means water chemistry and Newcastle disease virus inactivity. Minimum reduction in virus inactivity was recorded in water with neutral or slightly alkaline pH, while the virus was relatively less stable at extreme pH conditions. Maximum reduction in infectivity was observed in the water with pH 9, in which the virus was completely inactivated within 3 hours. Minimum reduction in infectivity was observed in the water with neutral pH, followed by ones with a pH of 8, 6, 5, and 9. In all water samples, T90 values, the time required for 90% reduction in virus infectivity. 90% reduction in virus infectivity, the time is called T90 values. Was highest at neutral pH and lowest at extreme alkaline. I'm repeating the thing. Maximum reduction of infectivity was observed in water with pH 9, where virus was completely inactivated within 3 hours. And minimum reduction in infectivity was observed in water with neutral pH, followed by ones with a pH of 8, 6, 5, and 9. These results indicate that water with a pH range of 7 to 8 is suitable for administration of NDV live vaccine, Newcastle disease or Rani-Kent disease live vaccines. So, vaccine, there is a very close relations with drinking water vaccination and water pH. Let's move to the next slide. Another important subject, water pH and chlorination of drinking water, chlorine sanitization of drinking water. As a publication by Aviagen on 25th September 2019 and poultryside.com. What this says, chlorination is an effective way to achieve water sanitation as it provides natural protection against recontamination, is easy to use and cost effective. Chlorination requires an acid application to adjust water pH to 5 to 7. The effectiveness of chlorination depends on the water pH, which should be between 5 and 7. An acidifier need to be added to the water to ensure that pH is within the recommended range. When chlorine is added to water, it forms hypochlorous acid, which is the active sanitizing agent, and hypochlorite acid, which is not an effective sanitizer. When the water pH exceeds 7, more hypochlorite acid is formed and less hypochlorous acid formed. So the effectiveness of chlorination is significantly reduced. For best performance, drinking water needs to be acidic rather than alkaline before chlorine treatment throughout the production cycle. This is the relation between water pH and sanitization, drinking water sanitization. Let's move to the next slide. What is the role of water acidifier on gut health? We have seen the combination of organic acids like acetic, formic, propionic, and butyric not only reduce drinking water pH at desired level, but also helps maintaining optimum gut health. Field experience shows combination is better, gives better result than any single acid. Organic acid reduces water pH and thus minimizes microbial load in drinking water. It reduces gut pH, which always under threat from the ingestion of feed and poor quality water. Maintaining gut microbiota by favoring the growth of helpful microorganisms makes the gut epithelium unfavorable for the pathogenic bacteria like E. coli and Salmonella for addition and colonization. Acidifier increases villi height and crypt depth and improves digestion and absorption capacity of the intestine. It reduces unwanted abdominal fat content in the chicken. there is some direct bactericidal action, especially butyric acid, enters the bacterial cell wall through diffusion, which causes toxicity inside the bacterial cell, the reduction in the cytoplasmic pH of the bacterial cell, leading to the death of the bacteria. And in gut morphology, acids are effective, but butyric acid is special. After ingestion, is absorbed preferably by enterocytes as a source of energy. It accelerates growth of enterocytes and villus elongation, thus results increased villi height and crisp rate. So, organic acids, they not only reduce the pH, not only maintains the gut microbiome, it helps in maintaining the health and digestion process, and they have directly bactericidal activity. Water acidifier is working in two ways. One is reducing the pH and improving digestion, and third way, the direct bactericidal action. Let's move to the next slide. Now the sanitization. Water sanitizer. You have to minimize the water pH before sanitization. The most common way of water sanitization is chlorination. It is again of two different types: simple chlorine dioxide and homochloromolecules. Chlorine dioxide releases both hypochlorous acid and hypochlorite acid, which hydrolyzes the peptide chain of microbes and kill the microorganisms. But the homochloromolecules have dual action, releasing both bromine and chlorine. So this chlorine will act like chlorine dioxide. So as it is releasing chlorine, over and above, this homochlorous salt releasing bromine. This bromine is slow releasing and has sustained action, effective at much higher pH than the chlorine. Effective in presence of organic matter. Bromine is effective against some viruses, algae, and fungi also. So, water sanitization is must in today's polity. And before water sanitization, you need to reduce the pH, then use the best water sanitizer, as for example, homochlorous salt. Let's move to the next slide. What to do in farm level to maintain the drinking water hygiene? If we can install the RO plant, it is fine. We can get the desired water pH and TDS. If we cannot, or it is a small farm, it is not possible, then first you need to do the acidification to reduce the pH from day one to harvesting. Then after 10 minutes, use good water sanitizer like homochlorous salt or iodine or DDSC or chlorine. Over and above, along with the water sanitization, you have to maintain the drinking water hygiene in the farm by arranging cleaning of watering system regularly. The tank, you have to clean the tank after every bath with bleaching powder, simple bleaching powder like our household tank cleaning. Pipeline, every fortnight you need to clean the pipeline with 5% H2O preparation. Manual or bell dinker or auto dinker, you have to clean every day with bleaching powder. In case of nipple dinker, the cups to be cleaned weekly. So at farm level, you have to either install the RO plant or do acidification and sanitization. Also maintain water hygiene. That's the things to do at farm level. Let's proceed to the next slide. This is the take-home message of drinking water hygiene maintenance. If you are maintaining drinking water hygiene perfectly, what are the benefits you are going to get? Control of waterborne disease like fowl cholera, fowl typhoid, E. coli, enteritis. Because if you are maintaining the water hygiene, there will be no waterborne disease. Optimum intestinal integrity will be maintained. If your drinking water hygiene is maintained, there will be optimum intestinal integrity. The intestinal mucous membrane will be intact. The microbiome will be balanced. There will be tight junction, no rupture. The gut associated lipoids react properly. So, optimum intestinal integrity is maintained. That reduce oxidative stress and optimum immune system function, less disease chance, and if disease at all comes, severity will be very less. Next is reduced mycotoxin effect, because if the intestinal pH is maintained and mucus layer is intact, there will be mycotoxin will be absorbed very less and reduce mycotoxin effect. And the most important, reduced microbial invasion to gut mucosa. There is no leaky gut, less chance of disease. Disease, which are those diseases? All notable diseases like necrotic enteritis, coccidiosis, infectious coryza, Campylobacter. All these are bacterial disease, and the viral disease like avian influenza, Emboro or IBD, IBH, geovirus infection, rotavirus infection, and subclinical CIA, which also enters through fecal-oral route. All the diseases which enters the body through oral route or through mouth, if the gut intestinal integrity is maintained, it will reduce microbial invasion. All the bacteria virus will either be release all the discharge from the body either intact or killing by the natural immune system of the intestine. Virus and bacteria will be passed out through feces. That will be reduced invasion because intestinal integrity is intact. So drinking water hygiene maintenance is huge response of protecting disease. One way is control of waterborne disease, and on the other side, maintaining optimum intestinal integrity, reduced microbial invasion, no leaky gut, less chance of all these diseases. It's all about today. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor. Nice presentation. And my participant is there. Before proceeding,
Thank you, sir.
I just want to points about.
Thank you.
There is some echo. Sound. There is some problem. Let's check the sound.
Actually, Dr. Rakesh, Sone sir, your phone is going repeatedly.
Oh, sorry. Actually, I am driving and I was here only. Sorry.
No issues, no issues.
I was not understanding what is happening. Okay. Actually, I am driving. Tell me, I will unmute myself. Okay. And then I will hear.
Just mute your microphone.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's good. Screen mode. Yeah, these are our offerings in water hygiene. Next.
Hello.
Yeah.
Is it?
Exit.
Hello.
So this is about Bromocrane. which is one of the sponsor of this webinar. And this Bromograin is a dual action water sanitizer. It has unique features like it contains CDMH, and it is stable and effective in wide pH of range like 1 to 10. This is a bactericidal action starts within the 15 minutes of application, and it is Bromograin is effective at low concentration. Just 7 gram per 1,000 liter of water is 7 gram is only required quantity for sanitation of 1,000 liter of water, and it is slow releasing and sustained action. Next, please. Yeah, these are some on-farm demonstration of our product Bromograin. So this yellow highlights total bacterial count, and this purple is E. coli count. So we had done the farm demonstration with Bromograin, and in pan-India basis, we found before and after application, of this Bromograin, there is a 0 colonies, or there is a nil bacterial colony formation. So this is about the Bromograin. The next sponsor brand is Chemosid PHB, which is a potent water acidifier. It's a unique blend of potentiated organic acids. It helps in lowering the pH of water along with the acidification of GI tract. It also helps in eliminating harmful pathogens in drinking water.
Sir, actually the slide is not visible, sir.
Okay.
Slide is not visible. Only first slide at our offerings in water hygiene is only visible, sir.
Okay. So this slide is visible, Weber?
Yeah, it's on the left of the screen.
It is not visible,
Very
Dr.
small,
Sanjay.
It's visible, very small. It's not readable, sir.
Okay. We are
This is good, sir.
Now it is coming.
Now it's visible.
Yes, sir. Yes, it's visible, sir.
Yeah.
Can you
start
make it
from
full
the
screen?
second slide, sir. Actually, second slide from the second slide.
Okay, Weber. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank
So
you.
this is about Bromograin, which is a BCDMH, and it's stable and effective in wide pH range. So it exhibits very good kind of bacterial action, and it starts within 15 minutes of application. It's effective at low concentration. So 7 gram per 1,000 liter of water is dose is only required for the water sanitation. It exhibits slow releasing and sustained action. So we have done some on-farm demonstrations. Before Bromograin testing, there is a total bacterial count and also E. coli count. So after application of Bromograin, there is a reduced bacterial colony or nil colony. The second sponsor is Chemosid PHB. It is a potent water acidifier, and likely our speaker said that addition of water acidifier gives a lot of benefits in poultry farming. So it is a unique blend of potentiated organic acids. It helps in lowering the pH of water and helps in acidification of GI tract. It also helps in eliminating harmful pathogens in drinking water, and it supports the establishment of good microflora within the gut, which helps in proper nutrient absorption. So these are available packs. That Chemosid PHB is available in 1 liter and 5 liter jar, and Bromograin is available in 200 gram and 1 kg pack size along with drum. So if you have any product inquiry or you have any technical queries about these brands, you can contact to our team members. The product inquiry, we have zonal managers in each zone, so you can contact them. And for technical queries, you can directly revert to us. Thank you for your participation. Now this session is open for the query handling. Open the motor. So
now the session is open for queries. So if anyone has any query from Dr. Datta, then he can
Address.
unmute his phone and ask that query.
Yes,
from
I'm
Dr.
online. Anyone can ask question. If possible, I'll try to answer whatever in best possible way. Or they can write in chat section also. They can write.
Doctor, I have one question for you.
Please.
So in water sanitization, what is the role of ozone?
Your sound is not clear.
So in our plant, we are just following the ozone treatment. So can you please
Okay.
give light on the what exactly role has the ozone in water sanitization?
हमारा भी mute करो.
You are maintaining the chlorine level. It should be 3 to 4 ppm in water.
Okay.
Not more than 4. Hello. Any question more?
Hello, this side,
Yes.
Dr. Ajay sir. Hello.
Yeah, please.
As you mentioned, sir, in hardness, too hard water, there are some molecules or antibiotics which don't work efficiently. So could
Yeah.
you please tell me some molecules or antibiotics which lose their efficacy in hardness, too hard water?
Almost all. Almost all.
Okay.
Not specific. We try to reduce hardness.
And second,
Yeah.
and second one is, sir, as you told that when the level of nitrate goes on higher side, it creates a problem to the birds. So could you please tell if some specific or non-specific sign and symptoms which bird will show when there will be too much high level of nitrates in water?
It's respiratory. You will find no other signs in the respiratory system. So if you there will be panting, huge respiratory trouble, but no other clinical signs, nothing matching with any respiratory disease like ND or your ILT or LPAI or E. coli or Mycoplasma. It will matching none but the birds are panting. So most it is like there's no oxygen. Birds are not getting oxygen. Without oxygen concentration in the air is less, they are panting. They are like that. Respiratory trouble is the.
And thank you, sir. And last question, sir, from my side. What should be done to those farms where the mother tank or borewell water has pH already 5? Should we go for adding acidifier, or what do you suggest?
If pH is 5, please do not add any acidifier. But 5 pH water is available.
Yes, sir. Some 5.5 also. I have noted somewhere. Not
Which area? Which area? Which state?
In West Bengal, sir.
Which area?
Bankura.
Bankura, below 6, it is not available. I have not seen in last 17 years. I'm working in Bankura
I
for
have
17
noticed,
years.
sir. Okay, sir.
Monsoon it is 7.2, 7.3. Other time it is 6.5 like that. Okay.
Okay,
But
sir.
don't add anything.
Okay,
Only the sanitizer, good sanitizer you use. No need of acidifier.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Welcome. There is a question in. Question in the chat section. How could you reduce the iron content in water? It's by RO only, by soft. Installation of RO is the only option. Nowadays, installation of RO is very economic. It's not like in the earlier days. In West Bengal, if you pay 70,000 rupees, there are persons who will install RO plant for your farm of 10,000 watts within few days. how long the chlorine level of 3 to 4 ppm remains in water. Yeah. This chlorine level normally remains in water from 15 to 18 hours. 3 to 4 ppm, whatever you maintain, then gradually it decreases. Normally, the chlorine tablet manufacturers, they used to say 5 ppm, but 5 ppm is not good. 5 ppm within 24 hours, they say 5 ppm. If you adjust 5 ppm chlorine level, then within 24 hours it will become 3. That's why they say 24-hour efficacy. But 5 ppm is not good. 3 is advisable always. Otherwise, chlorine is also, excess chlorine is not good. While administering live vaccine in drinking water, what should be the optimum pH? Yeah, at optimum pH should be 7. 7 pH is ideal for drinking water vaccination. That's why in small form, I recommend, as a person, I recommend to use bottled mineral water, this drinking water. Whatever the bottled drinking water available, nowadays everywhere, 20-liter can is available. 20 ml per, this 20-liter can is very good for 1,000 chicks. Just you make the chicks, keep the chicks without water for 2 to 3 hours. Let them get enough thirsty, let them be thirsty for 2 to 3 hours. When the thirst is that much level, dissolve the vaccine in vaccine to be reconstituted, then dissolve the vaccine in mineral water, this drinking water, this available drinking water is 7 pH, and with double number of drinker, just give it instantly within 5 minutes. Give double with this vaccinated water, give to the birds in 5 minutes, and let them consume within 15 minutes, within another 10 minutes. Withdraw water 3 hours before. Reconstitute the vaccine. Dissolve the vaccine in mineral water. 20 ml per chicks is required. Put all those drinker, means double number of drinker. If it is already in bell drinker, put the manual drinker along with double number of drinker. Place all the drinker instantly within 5 minutes, so that the birds which are not drinking water for last 3 hours, they will drink water immediately within 10 minutes. If all the birds just take 1 drop of water from this container, this drinker or bell drinker, it will be fine. And the 7 pH, the mineral water which are available from the several RO plants locally, it is available. It is very cheap, 20 to 30 rupees per 20 liter locally, and this is good for drinking water vaccination.
Fluoridation of water affect the use of probiotic.
Yes.
Yeah. There is another
Will
query, doctor. Yeah,
chlorination
chlorination
of
of
water affect the use of probiotic? No, this 3 ppm level does not affect. That's why I was not asking 5 ppm. And probiotic, when you are adding, they are in they are in encapsulated form. They'll have to be go vegetative form while passing to crop and proventriculus. And in the intestine, they will be in vegetative form. And when the water goes to the intestine, there are already some changes started drinking water. This 3 ppm chlorine and chlorine level water is not harmful for probiotic. But 5 and above, there are some people are using double dose, do not recommend. And if it is possible, probiotic should be given in the morning water. In the morning, 1 hour water or 2 hour water. That time, you give some excess acidifier to make the pH below 6, and don't give any sanitizer for that 2 hours. When you are giving probiotic, don't give any sanitizer. Instead, you give some more acidifier. If water pH is below 6, it is the only this lactobacilli and helpful bacteria will grow. The coliform salmonella is very tough for them to grow, multiply, and colonize. Any question more? While adding acidifier in water, how much time it will be doing acidification? That's a good question. There are several acidifiers. Only simple acetic acid to combination of acidic propionic, butyric formic acid, and also buffered acid. There are some new products range of came with buffered acid. With buffered acid, this pH, you can keep the desired level pH up to 24 hours. Others normal, the organic acids which you combination is using, that is good for 8 hours until the used organic matters enters into the watering system. Suppose the like feed, litter material, and stool. All these are coming to the drinking system, the drinker pot. If it comes, it will increase the pH rapidly. If it is not coming, if it is a routine form, it is a clean, hygienic form, you can think 8 hours is combination of acetic acid or combination of organic acid will reduce the pH up to your desired level up to 8 hours. But single acid like acetic acid, it reduces pH drastically, but it cannot maintain the pH at reduced level up to 8 hours. That's why combination is always advisable. Is it better to withdraw acidifier in water before vaccination? No, not at all. You have to acidify. Use of acidifier means reduction of pH. Low pH has got no negative effect on the viral vaccine. All the vaccines we are using through water are mostly antiviral vaccines. So with acidifier, there is nothing is there, and we are reducing pH to 6 only. So with 6 pH, nothing is going to happen with the vaccines. Practically available softener for small farms. For small farm, you can small farm, but you need to have well drinker with over a tanker. If you can maintain 2 tank, but from the borewell water, the underground water will come to the first tank, and the first tank it will go to the second tank. In the first tank, you can use the bleaching treatment. Pure bleaching, the medical grade bleaching. 1 gram is sufficient for 100 liter water. 1 gram for 100 liter water, keep for 2 hours. You'll see some is calcium carbonate and all this iron, all this salt, some salt settle down at the bottom. Then take the superficial water to the next tank. There you do your needful acidification and sanitization, and then to the birds. But you need 2 consecutive tanks. First tank is to minimize the iron or this TDS, to reduce TDS. 1 gram of medical grade bleaching in 100 liter of water. Any more question, please?
Sir, once again, thank you from Bromograin and Chemosid PHB. So now I request our chairman, Samir sir, to address the participants with his words of gratitude.
Thank you. Thank you, Sanjay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much, Dr. Datta, for your very informative and interesting lecture today. It was very nice to see you explain everything well, and it was very heartening to see. It was very heartening to see the number of questions that we received today. On behalf of all of us at ChemBond and DK Singh and Dr. Gapat, we would like to express our deep appreciation to you, Dr. Datta, and to all the participants today.
Thank you, sir. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much for organizing this. Okay. Goodbye to everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Lot to the participant for
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
sparing your time and
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
thank you, doctor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a
Thank you, sir.
lot.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you all.
So,